Welcome to Plan Manage Assist podcast on short-term accommodation and medium-term accommodation with John and Stuart from Plan Manage Assist.
Hi everyone, this is Stuart here and I'm here with John. And so John, I know that we had some price changes on the 1st of July. So how has that impacted on changes to STA?
Hi everyone, thanks Stuart and Joe. Look, with STA there's been no changes. You can still use it for up to 14 days in a row and 28 days in total across a 12-month plan. Obviously if you've got a 2-year plan, that's double that. The thing I guess I would remember around STA primarily is that it is very expensive. It'll eat up your budget very quickly. So if you want to have it included in your plan or use a fair bit of it, is have a chat to your LAC or NDIS contact around the time of your review or as you're meeting as part of a change of circumstance, because it is expensive and you will burn through your budget quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. So then following on from that, so what sort of changes happened to MTA?
Okay, so there's a couple of key changes that have happened. MTA still comes under core supports as it did before, but there's a new category called home and living, which is actually category 16. Now it fits in core. I know it doesn't make sense, but that's where they put it. It's a stated category now, which means it's not flexible and you can't spend it on anything else. So it has to be used for medium-term accommodation. Now, the most important thing is that the category also includes support independent living, as SIL, as people know, and individual living options, which is ILO, in terms of the exploration, design and support model that they build around individual living options. For non-PACE participants, there is no change to MTA. It can still be used as it was previously. It's just PACE participants that impacts.
Okay, so does that therefore mean that is there a change to that limit of 90 days?
No, there's no change. And even we've seen some participants that actually have more than 90 days where they've applied for that. The NDIS have approved it by some exceptional circumstance. For instance, if their building or the next accommodation location isn't ready yet.
So John, does this change have an impact on PACE participants when it comes to their plan reviews?
Yes, it does. As MTA now is in the stated category, as I mentioned, you need to include it in your budget, in your plan. So you really need to have that discussion with your LOC or your NDIS contact at your review meeting or as part of a change of circumstance request, which can be mid-plan. In order to have it included, you must meet certain criteria. And this is they're starting to enforce this now. You have to have a long-term home that you're going to move into. Hence, you need a medium-term accommodation in the interim while it's being built. You can't move into that long-term home yet because disability supports aren't ready. Mm-hmm. And you can't stay in your current accommodation while you wait for your long-term home. For instance, if the lease is up, if there's something going on with the build, if there is a build happening. But those criteria have to be met now in order to receive that stated support and funding in your plan.
I see. So do we know why the NDIS has taken this approach with MTA for PACE participants?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a number of reasons to make sure MTA is being used what it was meant for. And that is that criteria and not for anything else such as holidays, because there has been a blowout of people taking advantage and basically using MTA for any time they went away. Another way is controlling costs. The NDIS is actively doing at a federal level, and now that needs to be approved by the NDIS. So, and this is just PACE participants at the moment. PACE is rolling out across the board. Eventually, this will impact everybody in the way they apply for MTA.
Okay, so thinking a little bit closer to home now. So, what impact does this have on Plan Manage Assist participants?
Well, it's great for us, none, because we're API direct connected with NDIS, and in terms of processing any MTA or STA invoices or anything else for that matter for SIL, it'll happen as usual.
Fantastic.
Well, thank you both, Stuart and John, and thank you. We hope you found this podcast of benefit, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to call us on 1300 199 960.